Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Such. This channel is dedicated to everything Porsche and other makes and models that I find interesting along the way. A little bit of fun for you today. We're going to be talking about 6 things or 6 myths that probably only stupid people fall for. Just a little bit of fun. Hope you enjoy it. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is the fact that a lot of people seem to think that you'll never lose money when you're buying a Porsche. Let me tell you now, that is completely wrong. Just hear me out. There are 2 ways you'll probably lose money on Porsches. The first is the purchase price. For general run-of-the-mill cars like the 911s, you know, the Caymans, the Boxsters, the ones that are still quite high in price, you will lose money on the value of those cars. There is no 2 ways about that. And the second part of that is the money that you will put into that. You'll never get that money back when you're servicing the car, upkeeping the car, you know, paying for general maintenance of the vehicle. And there are obviously a few exceptions to that. You know, you've got the GT3s, high-end cars, things like the 918 Spiders and things like that, which, let's face it, none of us will be able to afford. If you've got a 997, prices seem to be a little bit all over the place with those cars because they've just been given classic status. Some people think that prices of those cars are generally higher than they are, to the tune of generally about 25-30% in fact. And of course there is the whole COVID thing as well, which has kind of thrown that whole theory out of the window. But let's face it, COVID is a once in a lifetime experience. You know, hopefully no one's going to go through that again, and that did dramatically adjust the levels of the car model. I guess the upshot is, unless you've got a super high-end car like a GT3, GT3 RS, GT2 RS, you're going to lose money on your Porsche. All right, number 2 on the list is that despite trying to convince your wife or your partner, the Porsche 911 is not the perfect family car. Have you ever noticed that people who say the 911 is the perfect family car generally have another car that they will also use at the same time as the 911? Not literally at the same time, but for things like tip runs, taking your family out for day trips. It's just not practical at all to have the 911 as a family car. I've tried it. I did it with my 996. Believe me, it was tough. I mean, it's not all bad. It will get you from A to B. It will do the shopping run. It will take the kids to school and pick them up, things like that. But when you've got to start lumping in, you know, family trips, when you've got the kids getting in the car, when they want to go out on the bikes, when you've got to go camping, it's just less than ideal. It's a romantic idea to think that these cars can be used as good daily drivers, but in the real world, they're just not that good. Although I will stand corrected, the 992 looks like it might be the best option of all of the 911s to drive as a daily driver. But when you go back to the 991s and the 997s, 996s and anything before that, then it's probably just a no-go. And now we're at number 3 on the list. Just because it's a Porsche doesn't mean it will beat everything on the road that it comes up against and that you are king of the road. Completely wrong, completely false. The likelihood is that a lot of the Porsches that are on the roads, you know, the cars that you and I would drive, your standard Carreras and your Caymans, will be comfortably, and I mean comfortably, beaten by most modern estate cars and saloon cars. But I think the good news is that most Porsche owners are mature enough to not give a crap about that, in fact, and actually enjoy the car for what it does really, really well. You know, these cars have a lot of character, their fun factor is off the scale, they have the ability to put a smile on your face every time. And for me, it's escapism, it's a drug, it's a therapy, and there is no greater sports car that I'd rather be driving. Please just don't get above your station thinking that your car is something that the reality is it probably isn't. Number 4 is that you will have way more fun in a £200,000 GT3 than you will in a £5,000 Porsche Boxster. I promise you this, the guy in the £5,000 Boxster is having just as much or possibly even way more fun than the guy in his £200,000 GT3. The guy in the £5,000 Boxster has only got £5,000 on the line. He's going to rag the tits off that car and he's going to drive it like he's actually stole it. The guy in the GT3 is probably worried about resale values, getting a scratch on the wheels, so he's probably going to be a little bit more careful. I mean, they're still lovely, they're gorgeous cars, and I still want one. But, unfortunately, I have to pay for kids, school uniforms, and other boring crap like that. So until the day comes when the kids are all grown up, I'll stick with my 981 Cayman and my 997 Carrera 4S. The moral is, enjoy your car for what it is and don't compare yourself to what others have. Their story and level of wealth will be completely different to yours and on completely different levels, or they could be up to their eyes in debt. Live within your means, that's just my advice. So the next myth number 5, is that servicing a Porsche has to be done by a Porsche specialist or an official Porsche garage. Complete load of rubbish, once again. While most people do like to have their cars serviced at a garage like a specialist or the main dealer, it's really not that difficult to do it yourself. I've done a lot of videos on this channel where I've serviced the whole car myself and I've documented it, filled in the service books. It's really not difficult to do, as I say, so long as you fill in the service book and write down all the information and everything that you've changed over. And you may think that servicing your car yourself would affect the resale value. I don't think that's true, not in all cases. You know, if you've got like a high-end car or quite a high-value Porsche, then I would say possibly yes to an extent. If you've got a lower-end car like a 10, 15, 20 grand Porsche, then it's not gonna matter too much unless you're selling it to one of these like We Buy Any car places. You know, at the end of the day, if somebody's coming to look at the car, you've told them that you've serviced it yourself, they're standing in front of you, they want to buy the car. Be firm, stand your ground, document exactly what you've done, and I don't think you'll have an issue. Myth number 6 is that you definitely need to stay away from the models affected by the IMS and the bore scoring issues, like the 997s, the 996, the 987s and the 986s. One of the biggest load of craps you will read online. The fact is, any car, when you think about it, can be susceptible to a little bit of bore scoring. Now, that doesn't mean you should be blasé and not give a crap about it. If you're worried about things like this, get a pre-purchase inspection done. It might cost you a couple of £100, but it'll give you peace of mind and let you know that the cylinders haven't been scored. Or you can budget in an extra £1,000 and get the stronger, bigger IMS bearing installed. I've spoken to people that have been thinking about buying a Boxster or a Cayman or a 911 for years, and I'm talking years and years, but they keep saying the same thing. I'm worried about the IMS, I'm worried about the bore scoring. You've got to get past that, guys, come on. Don't let it worry you. Drive the car as per the manual. Don't get in, started, and just let it warm up. What you should be doing is getting in the car, starting it, driving off straight away, keeping it below 3,000 RPM. Once the car is up to temperature, then you can give it beans like you're supposed to. I mean, that's tasty. I shouldn't be doing that in a build-up area. And you know what? I'm probably sure there are 100 more things that we could add to this list. So if you've got any ideas, then why don't you pop a comment in the box below and we can see what other guys are coming up with about the common myths. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you can hit that like button. And if you're not already and you want to see more daft videos like this, then hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.